Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. Gyökeres signs today as an Arsenal player. Everything has been sealed between the two clubs, Arsenal and Sporting CP. And finally, Arsenal have booked the medicals for Gyökeres. We shall be discussing that story. Bayern Munich are serious about both Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli. If they fail to get Luis Diaz at Liverpool, the next attention, the next point of focus is going to be either Leandro Trossard or Gabriel Martinelli. Bayern are very serious and Arsenal are willing to sell. Gabriel Jesus is another player that Arsenal have told you can find a club this summer, but Mikel Arteta is very keen on keeping the player despite big wages, big injuries, and also the big questions on Gabriel Jesus. Should Arsenal keep him? To you in the comment section, what do you think? I mean, he's a player that on his day is a very, very quality player. But for Arsenal, bringing in Gabriel Jesus, Gyökeres, and we also have Kai Havertz, is it time to move on Gabriel Jesus? For me, I bet it is this summer. Maybe you get some good money, but next summer, with this contract running down, will Arsenal really get good money out of the sale of Gabriel Jesus? I don't think so, but he's one of the players that Arsenal are telling you can go and find a club, and 8 players will be cleared out of this Arsenal system this summer. Andre Bata is not joking around. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. We'll be discussing the 8 players. We'll be discussing Gyökeres and Martinelli and Leandro Trossard as well. But let's start off with that big story on Gyökeres, and it's coming in from Portugal, and they're saying that after 10 hours and the possibility of collapsing, Arsenal and Sporting have sealed the deal for Gyökeres. The Swede will sign a 5-year deal at Arsenal, where he will be earning 8 million per season. That is very close to 153,000 per week. So that's according to sources in Portugal. The deal has been sealed. And if you don't believe those guys, then you can definitely believe Chris Whitley, who says that Gyökeres has been confirmed to be in London by Friday. He will be in London by Friday. Everything has been booked between the medical department and Arsenal to make sure that the player is actually ready for pre-season. Now, the problem with this deal yesterday, like Fabrizio reported, the situation was actually getting tense. And it was getting tense because of a minor issue, in my opinion, a very small issue. Arsenal had originally said, we're going to spend 60 million euros on this guy, nothing more. And Sporting said, we want more. We want more money. We want more money in terms of the guaranteed payment. And Arsenal were like, all right, if you want more money, we're going to raise our offer to 63.5 million euros. And Sporting said that was okay. That was good, right? What about add-ons? Arsenal said, we shall give you 10 million euros. In add-ons, that is 8 million pounds. And Sporting said that is okay. And a total agreed deal was agreed in principle for 73.5 million euros. But just like Sporting like drama, yesterday they actually changed their mind, and Fabrizio said they keep asking for more and more and more and more. So again, they brought more drama to the table. Now, what was happening, like I reported in the night, is Sporting said, what about if you gave us 10 million in add-ons and all of that money is going to be, part of the deal, not achievable, but we want it to be part of the deal. They were changing their mind on add-ons being based on players' performance to actually the add-ons being automatic. And Arsenal was saying, we are not giving you 73.5 million even without the player doing well. We want the player to succeed, and if the player succeeds, then ultimately, we shall give you 73.5. Now, what Sporting obviously realized is Gyökeres at 27 is a big risk for a club like Arsenal, and that is true. He's a big risk for a club like Arsenal. And he might actually come in, and maybe in his first season or second season, he doesn't catch fire. And that ultimately means that they're not going to get the add-ons. And for me, I don't see a problem with add-ons. I don't see the problem with the proposed add-ons that Arsenal are proposing. They're saying, if it does well, we shall give you 5 million more, right? The 5 million is easy. You're going to get it. If you place a certain number of games, you're going to get your 5 million. But the other 5 million have to be in terms of real performance. We've got to get real tangible results for you to get 5 million. And they had originally agreed to that. But when they looked at it, they said, we want more money. right? And that's why the deal was actually entering tense situations yesterday. But as of today, everything has been sealed between the two teams. We should be able to get our here we go from Fabrizio Romano on that big man, Victor Gyökeres. Now, of course, there is a problem going on with the striker situation, especially with Liverpool and Newcastle coming onto the table. And, of course, they have not approached Sporting CP yet, and Gyökeres only wants Arsenal. But Sporting is saying, wait a minute. If Liverpool want Isak, and they've got 120 million, and Newcastle want Hugo Ekitike, and they've got 80 million euros, why are Arsenal giving us just 73 million, right? And it's not even guaranteed. Why aren't Arsenal giving us like 85 million euros? They're forgetting that a big part of the money they're getting is out of sacrifices. The player has sacrificed, and also this money would be like 80 million euros or 85 million euros, but the player's agent has actually deducted 7.5 million of the deal, right? He's deducted 7.5 million of the deal. If he adds that money to the money that Arsenal are trying to send the player for, then that takes it to 80 million euros. So they're just being greedy. They're just trying to ask for more money and more money and more money and more money. But the deal is sealed for now. We're getting very positive stories from Portugal, unless otherwise, because this is a transfer that has had a lot of tweaks and twists. So I won't be surprised for another twist to happen. I won't be surprised for Sporting to say, we are waiting for Liverpool, right? If Liverpool called Federico Varandas right now, and they told him, can you give us some time on Gyökeres? I bet that hooligan is going to give them some time. He's going to give them time because he's just craving for more money. But Arsenal believe he will be part of the medicals this week and will be part of the team that flies out for preseason. And that just disorganizes everything. That means that Arsenal are going to have a very short period of time to work on the medicals, media duties, and everything, so that the player is part of preseason. It would have been nice for us to have a very good announcement video for our new number 9. It would have been very nice, but we won't have the time. We have less than 4 days. If Mikel Arteta's ultimatum still stands, today is 16th. We've got like 2 days. That is 17 and 18, and then 19th. This team is out for preseason. So if that ultimatum stands, it looks like Gyökeres is just going to have a shitty announcement the way we had with Kai Havertz, just like that. And then it's over. But it would have been better for us to have a very good announcement of Victor Gyökeres. But anyway, as long as he becomes our player, he's available for Manchester United. What do I care about? I mean, I could care less. Now, Bayern are serious about one of Arsenal's left wingers, and they're interested in both of them. They're interested in Leandro Trossard. They're also interested very much in the signing of Gabriel Martinelli. But their priority is Luis Diaz, right? Ghana blog saying that Bayern have not made any significant offers. No significant involvements have happened, but both players, Trossard and Martinelli, are under consideration at Bayern. Now, yesterday, Bayern made a bid to Liverpool and was 67.5 or 0.4 million euros, around there. And it was rejected immediately. Liverpool view the player as a 100 million euro deal. If Liverpool get 100 million euros from the sale of Luis Diaz, I will be devastated, because that is bloody good business, right? But Bayern are saying they're going in with a second offer. And for Arsenal, we have to pray that Bayern are frustrated with Liverpool, because Liverpool are saying the player's got 2 more years on his deal. We are not willing to sell. We don't want to sell our player. He's not for sale. So, of course, the player wants to go to Bayern. No question about that. I think what's going to happen here, and this is true, right? What's going to happen here is this. If Bayern miss out on Luis Diaz, they will make a substantial offer to Gabriel Martinelli. But the question is, how much do Arsenal really want in Gabriel Martinelli, and how sellable is he as an asset? Like, are Arsenal really considering selling Gabriel Martinelli this summer? I think it's very, very possible. because we've not had any outlet come out and say Arsenal won't sell. We've not had any outlet come out and say the deal won't be done. All the outlets that we actually heard from are saying the same thing, right? They're saying the same thing. Arsenal really would consider selling Gabriel Martinelli for the right offer, and a departure of Gabriel Martinelli opens up a very big opportunity for Arsenal to sign Rodrigo. If you ask me of the two, I've told you my idea, I've told you my opinion, and I would stand by it. I would sell Martinelli and bring in Rodrigo. That is clearly an upgrade. And keep Leandro Trossard. Because Trossard is experienced, Trossard is clutch, Trossard is clinical, Trossard is leadership, Trossard is everything this Arsenal team have actually bled out this summer. We've bled out a lot of experience. We've bled out a lot of pedigree. We've bled out a lot of monster mentality. And I think Trossard is one of the players that has got that. We need to keep him. We need to protect him at all costs. So for me, I would let go of Gabriel Martinelli. No question about that. If Bayern want, let them give us 70 million euros, 75 million euros for Gabriel Martinelli, and I would be okay with that. Now, Gabriel Jesus is another player whose future is hanging by a thread at Arsenal. Amidst Arsenal announcing that 8 players can find new clubs. These 8 players are Gabriel Jesus is number 1, Leandro Trossard, Gabriel Martinelli. All these players are open, are up for sale. If Arsenal receive the right offer, they'll be sold. Jakub Kiwior, Alexander Zinchenko, Karl Hein, Vieira, Lokonga, all these players are up for sale. And Nelson, actually 9 players, have been told if the right offer comes in, you're not staying at Arsenal this summer. Now, I want to talk into Gabriel Jesus, because Gabriel Jesus is confusing. On his day, you want to watch him every single fucking time. On the day where he's gonna frustrate you, you will need 100,000 dustbins for you to just be throwing anything that is in your hands into the dustbin. And I've got a question. Is Gabriel Jesus at the same level as Alexander Zinchenko? I mean, they're players that came in and raised the level at this football club. They raised the standard. They kind of built the Arsenal mentality that we know today. They brought the challenge. They ignited the fire within the beast. But is this project now far too gone beyond them? It's an honest conversation that we've got to talk to, right? Because if you talk to me about ESR and you tell me Arsenal's project was beyond ESR, I agree. Was beyond Edin Ketia, I agree. Was beyond Willock when we sold Willock, I agree. Is Arsenal's project beyond Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus? Well, let's look at this in 2 ways, okay? Let's look at this in 2 ways. One, Arsenal sign Gyökeres and have Kai Havertz as the 2 starting 9s. Madueke and Saka are signed, obviously, are now Arsenal players on the right-hand side. And on the left, you have Martinelli and Trossard. Let's say they don't leave, you have Martinelli and Trossard. Where does Gabriel Jesus really fit in that structure? Who does it displace in that structure? I wouldn't have him on the left, no question about that. I wouldn't have him on the left over Martinelli and Trossard. I wouldn't have him on the right over Saka. I would have him over Madueke, really, but I wouldn't have him over Saka, right? So maybe if he stays as a backup, but for the wages that he's earning and the injuries, would you really keep him or would you sell him this summer? And then let's talk about the market value. If you sold him this summer, I think you get better money than if you sold him next summer in a season where he won't play that much. So if you're looking at it in the perspective of value, you sell him this summer. If you look at it in the perspective of he stays as a backup to Saka, maybe you keep him for 1 more season. Maybe you want to protect pedigree and experience. Maybe you keep him for 1 season. But for me, he's an unreliable player who this Arsenal project has gone past. And it's not going to come back. It's not coming back. I don't think Arsenal are going to go back to a situation where we are relying on Gabriel Jesus. You know, there is something funny about Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, and it's this. When a player falls off, it is very difficult for them to come back into the squad. Look at White. White might be one of the best right backs we have at the club, but it's gonna be difficult for him to come back into the squad. The same as Gabriel Jesus, the same as Alexander Zinchenko. I think the project is past these guys, right? And then there is Kai Havertz. What should Arsenal do with Kai Havertz when Gyökeres comes in? For me, you keep. But if good offers arrive next summer, that's when you really truly look into the sale of Kai Havertz. Like, to be honest.